Get this happening. Okay, good. That's working. Good. I like it when things work. It's so much more pleasant that way. Fortunately, my system is in pretty good shape. I normally get I think things go fairly smoothly. I'm kind of getting back into it with the streaming, so it goes a little slow at times. But if you are just coming in, if you've never seen us before, I am the Mad Poet. You are an audience. We are the Mad Poet Society. Tonight, we're doing some recordings for my 69th album. I have finished albums 67 and 68, and then I am the only person who's heard those albums. Album 67, Unfound Paths, has been done for almost a year, and I just am not releasing it because I'm a freaking knob. But I've recorded a couple songs off of this album. It's titled Pink, and I was recording a little while ago. I'm like, I should just do this on stream. So got it going, and here we are. So just recording rhythm guitars today and seeing where it takes us. So this first song we're working on is called Pandora's Daughter, and I've played through it a few times, and we'll just see how the recording process goes. Make sure that the guitars are working. Looks like we got some juice there. Okay. I'm going to switch this over to this. Is that what I want? Yeah. That's the sheet music there for it. And you guys kind of watch along with that if you are so inclined. So yes, the album is called Pink. As you can see, it's spelled all fancy style. First song is called Pandora's Daughter. I've already recorded the fourth song, which is tentatively titled Brutalized by Beads. And then I recorded the seventh. I don't even remember what that's called. Oh yeah, 5 out of 4 people don't understand fractions. I come up with stupid song titles. They're awesome. The fourth song, this one, I'm really digging this. The way it has come out. And it's about 16 minutes long. And this is going to be dedicated to my buddy Steven. And a while back, I was on stream, and Steven asked the question, would it be possible to write heavy metal using only major 7 chords? And for those who may not kind of be familiar, major 7 chords are a very up-sounding chord. Very happy sounding chord. And so I kind of took up that challenge, and in that song I wrote a section of almost 3 minutes that's just major 7 chords. I will not be playing that here tonight. I'm going to let that be revealed live when I do the release party, the release show. And but yeah, I took up that challenge, and I gotta say, yes, it is absolutely possible to write heavy metal using just major 7 chords. That section of that song came out so brutal. So I'm just going to start recording here, see if this comes out all right, and we'll see how it sounds. what I typically do here is I will record two guitars, and a lot of times I will write in two different guitar parts. In this song, it's just one guitar part, so I just play the same thing on both guitars, but I use different tracks for all of this kind of craziness. And of course, that was only a partial bit of the song, but I kind of have this personal rule when I'm recording that I don't splice parts together. It's real easy to splice parts together in these programs. You can like move notes around and all that. I don't do that stuff. So I will only punch in, so to speak, at a place where I've written in a rest in the music. So I'll usually just play, up to that point and then edit my little ends and stuff. And I don't know why that shows up in the middle of the screen when I do. I have that on the top of my screen. Does not matter. It looks very different. On my screen, it looks like that. I know that's a little, no. I don't know what's going on. I pretty much never know what's going, that's okay. So for me, it looks like that. We are supposed to be getting an upgrade to our internet in the near future, which would be awesome. And then I'll hopefully be able to make these streams, particularly like the sheet music and stuff, will be a little more crisp. I'll be able to bump up to 1080. With our internet, I can only go up to 720, which is still reasonably high quality. And I don't know how well it'll work out, but we'll see what we can do with it. All right. So guitar 2, doing the same thing. And see, this is where like a lot of people, they just splice that. Like I came up to hit this A flat power chord, kind of missed a bit, so I just delete and start over. That's the way I do it. I thought there might have been one spot in there that didn't quite, that I may have hit slightly wrong. Question is, can we hear it? That's the recording program you see there. Pretty good. And I always, when I'm doing this, I'll do my takes and then I'll just come through and do the edits right away and not have to worry about it. I always feel like that's kind of the best part. And this is the kind of thing too, like a lot of times people will redo a shot like this, and I might just record that little section there again. But like, what are the things with the recording technology? We can zoom in so far that this looks like a really big mistake, but that's actually pretty tight. You can't hear that that's, slightly off. So that's the kind of stuff that I do not fix, personally. I don't think there's anything wrong with fixing it, but I personally leave the little stuff in there. And of course, if I just, completely hack it like I did on that one chord, then yeah, then I'll redo that. And we put a little crossfade in there, or not really a crossfade, a little fade. And this one, it looks like I got the entire thing slightly late and slightly early on that. So there, it's, I will move them around a little bit and just kind of do, oops, wrong key, that, and now, yeah, not so bad. And I'll just leave it like that. Da, da, da. Split that. Oh, and I messed something up there. Oh, don't want to do that. And depending on your settings, when you move these around, you can slightly change the play rate. And I have my settings set up that way. But fortunately, I can fix it very easily. Do a little fade there. And now those little mistakes are gone. Yeah. Kind of dig that riff. Kind of like this is a F minor piece. I chose it as F minor because I'm on the release show. I may start this show with a cover tune, and that will be Three Times a Lady by the Commodores, and that song is in F minor. So if I end up doing it that way, we'll see. Then it will transition straight in. Sometimes that's how you pick out, like, what key should I do this in? Other times it's just like, man, I feel like playing a piece in B minor, so I'm gonna write this in B minor. That's how I do it. All right, I'm gonna set my, I don't think you guys can see that new window that popped up, but I'm just gonna set this so that my thing will not switch the play rate when I move them around. Now let's do some more recording. This little section is kind of cool. It's very normal to do like 1A and a 2A and a 3, but I'm going 1A and a 2A and a. So I'm bringing that in slightly early, and it's a slightly different feel, and it's really cool to do stuff like that and just kind of play with your rhythmic devices and your compositions and different ways of playing stuff. It gives it just a little different, bit of a feel to how that all sits together. And I really enjoy doing that kind of stuff with my compositions. Also, I have saved this file probably like 6 times since I started this stream. That's something, if you're doing these kind of projects, just save all the time. It makes such a difference. I don't know if I've talked about this in any of my videos, but the very first album I recorded, Confusion, up at Riverside Studios in Granite Falls, Washington, a little studio kind of tucked away in like an upper floor of a garage at a residential thing, and I was in there and I was working on Mental Floss, the last song on the album, for like 4 hours, and I didn't save once. Power went out for 3 or 4 seconds, and so I cussed a bit, and then I powered the studio back up and kept going because that's just a way to do it. And then I never made that mistake again. And I think the last time I had a power outage here, that was probably 2 years ago while I was working on composition at the time, and I lost one note. I save enough that I just don't lose much data these days, even if, 'cause sometimes the electricity goes out. Sometimes, things go wrong in your system, and it's good to be prepared for that. Preparation is good. Okay, so what's coming up here? Okay, then it goes back into the main riff. Cool. And a lot of times I'll just kind of like look forward here and be like, okay, I'll record up to this section. So I'll probably record up to about here and give it a stop at that point. Yeah, let's try that. I think I'm gonna turn my metronome on for this. I'm fairly sure the metronome does not come through the stream, so you guys will not hear that, but it gives me just a little extra way to know where I'm at musically, which can be very handy. Let's actually make sure I'm still in tune. In tune is good. I like being in tune. And this guitar has this tendency to go slightly out of tune upward, where generally guitars are more likely to go out of tune down, to be slightly low. This one just always goes just a touch high. And even though I'm not going to be using strings 1 or 2 on this, I always just kind of do a holistic tune. I just tune the whole guitar. It's just a habit. This string does not want to cooperate. That was just barely out of tune. It wouldn't even be noticeable on the recordings. But it is a good habit to be in, keeping yourself properly tuned. Let's do a little more here. What do we got? Oh, you know what? And I do need to turn on that guitar again, because it automatically turned off when I went to tune. I've got it set up that way. That was my own fault. There we go. That sounds more like an electric guitar. Let's try this out. There, and I did not have my metronome turned on there, but I think that still came out just fine. And set up the other guitar track and save. I've actually got in my recording program, I set up a hotkey so that on my number pad, the 0, the big key there, hit that, and that acts as a save. I don't even got to hit 2 keys. Control S. I make it really, really easy to save my projects, because I have learned my lesson. Okay, where are we at here? We're good. I think I'm gonna turn the metronome back. There we go. We got it this time. Let's do this. I feel like I hit that wrong. And when I'm recording these songs, it almost feels like I'm doing like a lot more than necessary because I'm recording all the parts twice, and sometimes I'll do stuff over. And so sometimes I start the recording process. I'm like, oh man, this song is going to be so boring. It's just the same thing over and over. And, you know, I don't have my guitar solos in place yet, all that stuff. So the songs end up usually being just fine. But it does sometimes feel like that. I like that. It looks like a little tighter start there. And this new, I shouldn't say new, it's been out for a few years in my recording program. They've got this Razor Edit feature, which really, the old way is you'd split this and then drag to where you want it, drag to where you want it. But now, I've got this great feature where you just do this Razor Edit and you can set up multiple at once. Boom, cut that out, done. And then we cut it over here. Good. Oops. Didn't do that one quite right. Here we are. Get our fades in there. And we are good. And this one has a few other edits we should do in here. And I kind of feel like this one, there's another feature in this called Dynamic Split. It sometimes works really well. And sometimes it's a little wonky. I gotta remember which way to take it. Oh, I need to highlight things that I want to have split. That's part of it. Yeah, we're getting pretty close, maybe around 30. That gets out. It takes care of a few of them. It's not perfect. But then you go through and do the manual stuff, and you're good. And this is the kind of thing here that I'll just slightly move around. Like a lot of people will come in and they'll modify every single note in here, make sure they're all perfectly aligned. That I will not do. And I never tune my notes either. That I have no interest in. But I find that this is the kind of place where I'm most likely to be slightly off. So when I've got these kind of notes individually out here, just like little chords or something, that's where I have the greatest tendency to be slightly off. So those are the places to get just bumped a little bit. Highlight everything, do all my fades at once, and we're good. Man, what we got going on here? All right. And get the right stuff going. What am I doing here? I feel like I've just done something wrong. I have. Okay. Gotta make sure I got the right window activated when I'm doing stuff. Okay. Yeah. Get our snap back in place here. See what's coming up ahead. Okay, we got that little slowdown section on C. Looks like we don't got very many breaks in this one. We'll be going for a while here. Okay. So going up to this second break in that area. Cool. Well, let's do that. I think this should be reasonable. Ba, ba, ba. feel like I'm missing something here. Oh, I'm not on the right guitar. Now we're good. Got my guitar pick. It's nice when you miss right at the beginning of your recording instead of right at the end of it. I've got when I did Asymmetric, I think it's Asymmetric Writings 2. I've got a section in there that the way I was recording the lead guitars at the time, it had to be a single shot, and it kind of went back and forth with the rhythm guitars and the lead guitars, recording both at once, kind of, and I think it was like 27, 28 minutes nonstop. Had to do the entire take all the way through. And there was a place probably about 3 minutes in that was a little bit tough. And I got tripped up there a few times. I think like the fourth or fifth time I went through it, I got the 28 minute take. And then on Faded Age, the lead guitar, same thing. That was a little over 20 minutes, had to be straight through. And you get them, but it is tough when you're doing a 20-minute take and you're 16 minutes deep, and then you just totally honk something up, and it's like, oh, got to start over on that. It's good times, good times. All right, a little more of this. Good little chunk there. Guitar 2. All right. See if I can hit that twice in a row there properly. Okay, what do I just kind of checking my stuff. I got 5 monitors on my computer. I've got the most absurd computer setup. It's just stupid. And I use all 5 monitors. All right, take 2. I ate that one again there. It's a little bit of an interesting transition because I'm going up to this kind of add 6 and then the power chord. So sometimes I miss a little bit. I like to be fairly exacting on my recordings. Just comes out a little bit better that way. Missed my intro there. cool. And more editing, because that's just the excitement of the recording process, is you just edit and edit and edit, because it's part of the gig. Ooh, I came in late on both of those. Interesting. Let's see how that sounds. So I may need to do those over again. That's fine. And a lot of you hear from like really big producers and engineers, and they'll say, stop fixing every mistake that you make. And I really agree with that sentiment, that you don't need to fix everything. Leave some of the little mistakes in there. It adds to the humanity. The grid-aligned desire that is so prevalent in modern music of all genres too. It's a little overkill. And not necessary. It's kind of the charm of a lot of the old recordings. Man, I was out for running like 3-4 miles the other day and listening to some old Marvin Gaye recordings. I'm like, man, that stuff is so good. And there's not all that crazy editing in there. Not everything's perfectly aligned to the beat. You don't need to be. And it's just such powerful music. Well, that, of course, freaking Marvin Gaye. I mean, his voice was stunning. Not many people have that kind of a voice going on. But yeah, the music it had a great feel to it, because it wasn't all perfected and aligned, and you had that human element in it. And as much as I'm already playing to a grid, doing more of that is good. Adamo 1409, hello, thanks for coming in. Hope things are going well for you. If you're just coming in, we are working on some recordings today, recording the rhythm guitars for my 69th album. I have not released albums 67 and 68 yet. Oh, thank you for following very much. Greatly appreciated. I don't know if you are new to what we do here, but I am the Mad Poet. And I just make a lot of rock and metal music. Oftentimes I'll do performance style. Right now we're just recording, but I have, you can see the lights back in the background there a little bit. I've got a bunch more stage lights in the setup, and they'll be flashing and going crazy and smoke and all that stuff normally when I'm doing my shows. And I haven't been streaming as much over the last year. I'd actually had a really bad, diagnosed with rather bad sleep apnea, and it really punched me in the freaking brain. So getting back into things. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. And so this, very different than my normal show type of a thing. But I've also been lately writing some country music. I've been working a lot on my singing, and I feel like country and light rock might be the place where my vocals kind of work best. So I've been writing a country album and a couple of lighter rock style albums in the style of Justin Sullivan, who's not a real well-known performer. He's best known for his work with New Model Army, a UK punk band. But he's got this kind of light rock album called Navigating by the Stars that is one of my top 10 albums of all time. I listen to the crap out of that thing, and it's just awesome. So I've written a couple albums I am writing in that style, and I'm writing a country album. So we might, and I may sing on this album. I may sing here. How many followers do I have? Oh, not very many. No, I don't even look at my numbers. It doesn't even matter. But on this album, there's a song called "Brutalized by Beads." As I was talking about that a little bit earlier, and it is one of the most chaotic pieces that I've ever written and recorded. And there's actually, I may sing in that song, and it will be more country style singing right in the middle of all this raging metal. And that's going to be fun. If my vocals don't work out on that, then Sarah will. She's already agreed to sing that part, and that song's also going to have like a bunch of spoken word and stuff in it. And so it's just kind of it's just all over the place. I'm just totally crazy with this stuff. All right, let's see what else we got coming up on here. This song doesn't have all that much complexity to it. Really, mostly just a bunch of, fast notes and power chords, pretty standard heavy metal stuff. So yeah, there's nothing new coming up. So let's do a little more recording here. Oh, what instrument do you play, Adama? Guitarist, pianist, flautist, French hornist. There's probably a different word for that one. Darbuka. Darbuka? I've heard of that instrument. I couldn't place it right now if I had to. I'm going to tune up here. Make sure we're still in tune. I feel like darbuka is maybe an Asian instrument. I could absolutely be wrong about that. The E string on this guitar is arguing with me today. That is definitely going down. Alright, saved again. As I said, when you're doing recordings, you should save a lot. Because however long it's been since your last save, that's how much material you can potentially lose at any given moment. That's a good one to keep in mind. Okay, let's just hit this some more here and see what goes down. Oh, definitely want my clip track on. On that. I ate it. Let's try that again. Oh, there's nothing wrong with putting emojis in the chat in my stream. There's nothing wrong with that one at all. I did once. I don't like banning people, but I once had a person come into my stream during one of my shows and put up a custom swastika emoji, and it was just instant ban. As soon as that song was over, I'm like, you're done. And but I mean, for your emoji there, the little bitey face thing, there's nothing offensive about that. You do not have to apologize for that. See, that's where like a lot of people would just punch in there. Because what I did is I did and I hit an F chord where I was supposed to hit a G chord, and I think the reason that I don't mind recording things over is because I'm playing guitar. It's like completely awesome, and so many people call themselves musicians, and they don't seem to enjoy playing music. And it's like, dude, this is just fun stuff. I'm having a blast here. almost 1:30 in the morning, and I'm playing guitar, and it's cool. Call that a good take, and roll into second guitar number 2 here. Do that section again. That felt pretty good. See how much of this song is. I feel like I'm fairly close to the. Oh yeah, I'm getting pretty close to the end of this song. Yeah, I'm just gonna, before I do the end, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up this song. And I think I'm just gonna do a playthrough and experiment with. So most of my music is instrumental. My first 68 albums. Instrumental music. I've got one EP where there's some singing on it, and I've worked with some other bands that have had some vocals and stuff. But so a song like this, you know, for anyone out there who may not be familiar with my work, you'll be what you hear with this, and then there will be guitar solos kind of interlaced throughout it. And those, even in the recording process, when I'm live, it'll be different guitar solos, because I just improvise. So I'm going to finish up the recording of this. I'm going to go through and I'm just going to kind of improvise some solos and just kind of get a feel for where this song is going. And also it's in F minor, and I love soloing in F minor. It fits really well for me. I love that key. I like using a variety of keys in my music. Okay. Yeah, am I there already? Is that actually where I'm at? Oh, I'm almost done with this. Cool. Okay. Let's record the left. Oh yeah, that's almost nothing left. Very cool. Oh, get it on that. Let's do guitar 2 on that one. And we'll do a playthrough. And I did save that again. It would be interesting to have like some sort of a counter on my recording program to tell me how many times I've saved, because I really did learn my lesson that day at Riverside Studios when I lost 4 hours of work. Do not want to do that again because I'm selfish. I will admit that. Okay, let's finish this up. Saved. Good. All right, let's do a run through on this and see how this song sounds. Just gonna flip a couple of things around here in the recording program. Boom. And I don't feel like doing all this editing on screen. I don't think that's a very interesting part of this, so we'll fix that up later. And what's this song? About a 4.5 minute song. That's fairly standard size. All right, and we'll get that guitar going. And let's just hear. I'm not even exactly sure where I'm going to do the guitar solos on this particular piece yet. So I'm just gonna play. So I'll play the rhythm guitars until I feel like doing a solo. I'll hit the solo, and I have written in. This is something I will do fairly often. Is I will write in a motif, and this is just the beginning of the motif. Here I've decided I am going to do a ghost bend at fret 13. That's the only part of the guitar solo that is written in, and okay. Let's see what this song sounds like. This should be fun. Oh, and I do have to hit the right key, apparently. Let's do it this way. Oh, I want to turn that. I don't need my metronome on for this. And it is still on because I'm not on the right program to turn it off. Because I am a freaking dork. I've worked hard at becoming a dork, so I've earned it. Okay, let's try this out. F minor, Pandora's Daughter, the first complete run through of the song. love playing guitar. It's so awesome. So, the final song will maybe sound something along those lines-ish, something like that. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. But, yeah, good times. Just seeing if I want to... I still do need to exercise tonight before bed, so I usually go to bed about 4 in the morning. It's about a little after 1:30 here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call that a stream. I cannot quite read this name. Let me make this bigger. I am probably going to say this wrong. My apologies. Jardier Canaveri. I'm probably butchering that. My apologies. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for the compliment, and thank you for the follow. Greatly appreciated. Hope you are enjoying what you hear. If you're just coming in, as I was explaining earlier, this is just a recording session I'm doing right now. I'm recording my 69th album. The album is titled Pink. And that song that you just heard, I just finished recording, and that playthrough was just me kind of getting a feel for where the guitar solos are at, where they might be at when I record them. And so that's a little bit of what the song might feel like when it's finished. But my normal thing is usually doing rock style shows, heavy metal style shows. And I'll get the lights I got a lot more lights in here, and get the smoke machine going, and more rock. Can you read your nickname? Can I read your nickname? Thank you very much for the very high compliment. I might argue against that, because it would kind of be like saying, is Muhammad Ali a better athlete than Babe Ruth? Very different kinds of things there. But again, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I've been playing guitar for about 40 years, 40. Started when I was 8. I actually quit for a few years as a teenager, and then picked it up again when I was 17, and I've just kind of gone, you want to kiss my bald head? That is a very good compliment. So yeah, I've just been playing like crazy ever since. And back in 2017, I was doing a bunch of shows at a local coffee shop, and I started writing all this music just to play to, and I was like, wow, this really gives me a method of creating albums. You should compliment bald heads, and that's always a good thing to do. And so as I came up with that process, I spent 11 months in 2018 or 2019 to 2020, 2018 to 2019. For 11 months, I was putting out a full album every week, and it really upped my capacity to create music and do recordings and compositions and all of that. And it just is so much fun. And I started doing the shows and stuff. And yeah, I got a lot of cool guitars. My guitars are freaking awesome. And so it just kind of got me to this point, and it's just so much fun to do it. It feels so good to have that kind of creative output, and I've been very, very fortunate to be able to do so much music. And I teach music and mostly guitar, but I teach composition and music theory and audio production, all that kind of stuff. So I've been very fortunate with my life to be able to do all that stuff, and just very, very thankful to be in the position I am musically. And as I also said, I mostly do heavy metal, but I have been writing some country music and lighter rock stuff recently that I'm hoping to sing on those recordings. So we'll see where that goes. I've never sang well, but I've worked on it a lot, and I'm getting to a much better position. What instruments can I play? Really, guitar. Turkish music, yes. Just a moment, and I will talk about that. I play a little bit of saxophone. I think you can kind of barely see it right over there. And I hardly play that. I've got a very nice keyboard off on the side here that I'm not very good at. It's a much nicer keyboard than someone like me should probably have. It's really, really nice. It's basically set up to feel like a piano. It's got the fully weighted keys so very, very much an amateur in those other instruments. Turkish music. There's a piece I play by Carlo Domeniconi. It's on classical guitar. And I would not be able to do that right now. I'd have to retune one of my classical guitars for it. But it's a piece called Koyun Baba. And I don't know if it would qualify as Turkish music, but it's a 4-part suite. And it's inspired by the Koyun Baba region of Turkey. And that region, from my understanding, is known for like ghost stories and very severe weather. And so there's all these kind of mythos that have been built up around it. And it's a wonderful piece of music. Even if one of my classical guitars was tuned and ready to go for that, I have not played that piece in quite a long time. And overall, my classical guitar chops are not up to speed right now. I've not been playing a lot of classical guitar. I love classical guitar. And it's kind of interesting how things flow. I had been in a heavy metal band and a punk band years ago. And as those kind of dissolved and I started doing my more solo stuff, for a while I was doing a lot of classical guitar. And I was doing a lot of house concerts, which is just when, someone would host a concert right in their house and they'd have like 10, 20 friends over or whatever in their living room, their garage, their backyard. And those were almost exclusively classical guitar. I did a few rock shows with house concerts, but mostly classical guitar, and I would almost always end on Koyun Baba. But at that time, I was just playing so much classical because I was no longer actively playing with heavy metal or punk bands. And for a while, I was working on this song that I've never released. It's called The Sestina of Life. It's about a 17-minute long piece, and it's part of an album called The Death Sonnets. And I was writing this, and the intro to it, the first like 4.5 minutes, is very classically oriented, and it starts with a classical guitar. And I got up to the part where it's supposed to start doing the metal stuff, and I would write something about it's not working for me. I just write, delete, compose, delete. And finally I realized it's like, this makes perfect sense. I haven't been playing any rock music. I haven't been playing any heavy metal. So I just pulled out the electric guitar and started playing a bunch of songs that I know, and pretty soon it was like, oh yeah, this is getting back. So it wouldn't take too much for me to get my classical chops back up and running. I probably play classical guitar like twice a week. I've got a lot of cool stories. I have actually been making some content on my YouTube channel, and if you want to check that out, I've got a few videos up there that I've been doing. The last one was actually a story about a song that I put out called A Fistful of Light. And I kind of used that in the video to tell the story of Fistful of Light for why people should finish their projects. Because so many people, and I think authors, I'm going to put authors in quotes, are kind of the most egregious here. I know so many people who call themselves authors, but they've never finished a book. And I know a lot of painters who've never finished a painting. And so I kind of use that to illustrate why. And that particular song, I feel like it illustrates well the power of finishing your projects. And I did about an hour-long video. I think the one right before that was me talking about like a lot of my favorite guitar solos, and I got like some Jimi Hendrix in there, and Eric Johnson, Eddie Van Halen, and I even include the Marty McFly solo from Back to the Future because that movie is so awesome, and that solo is so awesome. So yeah, feel free to check some of that out. In fact, let me if I can say one music, can you play if your tune is okay? Go ahead and give me what you want. Let's see what you got. I don't want to make any guarantees. Because really, one of the big things for me right now is I tend to not memorize music. I don't even memorize my own music because, as you know, you guys probably saw, I have this sheet music. And so even when I'm recording, I'm reading off of my sheet music. When I'm doing performances, I'm reading off of my sheet music. Oh, Freebird solo? I actually do not know the Freebird solo off the top of my head. It's basically the main part that everyone, it's basically just triads. And it's one of those things. It's kind of impressive to watch someone play it, but it's actually a fairly easy thing. Canción del Mariachi. I do not know that song. Let me take a note of this, and I'm gonna have to type that out. Apparently I cannot copy off of that thing. I don't know why. Oh, there, I got it. Okay, I'm going to take a note of that and look the song up, because I do not know that. I would have to look up sheet music and stuff for it. And like I said, I am not in a position to have my classical guitar. I'm guessing that's probably a Spanish guitar kind of a thing. And I will check that out. I'm always up for new and interesting music. But I want to, since you guys are asking about it, I'm just gonna get my YouTube channel address here, pop it in for you just in case you are so inclined as to check that out. That is my YouTube channel there. And if you are on one of the other platforms, I'm actually streaming out to 15 different platforms right now. You will not see that unless you happen to be on that platform. Yeah, so if you're not on Kick, then that didn't come through, but nonetheless, feel free to look me up. I'm actually the Half Mad Poet on YouTube because someone else got the Mad Poet. But if you search for the Mad Poet on YouTube, you'll find me. And I guess yes, you should. The story of Fistful of Light. That's two back. My last video was an interview with Stephen Paris, who is just a really, really cool guy. That was also a very fun thing to do. I'm hoping to do more interviews. I've got a few people I want to reach out to for interviews to do on my channel. And we are supposed to be getting our internet upgraded in the next week or so. I should have much less lag and delay for interview stuff as that happens. So we'll see where that all goes, but it's good times. Nonetheless, this was fun. I had a lot of fun doing the live recordings here. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I'm gonna go ahead and sign out, and it is time to do some exercise and keep myself in shape so I can keep doing this kind of stuff. But to everyone who was watching tonight, whichever platform you're coming in from, thank you ever so much. I am the Mad Poet. You are an audience. We are the Mad Poet Society. We are all now official members for life. It's a very non-exclusive club. We take everybody. Thank you very much for being here. Have a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are, whatever you do it well. Until the next time.